In this video, I'm just gonna ease a little bit to Prince Harry, his pain in respect to loss of his mother, because I just want to be clear about few issues I read about him posting something about his mother Diana being murdered and such. Um, I don't know anything about what took during the incident itself, but I know about few things that definitely had an impact on this thing. Uh, what happened during the incident, in my opinion, is French authorities provided the best they possibly could to save her life. Uh, this I don't have any doubt on my mind. Okay, now what I can tell you is about the driver, and what I can tell you also is about the bodyguard that was inside of the car at the time. It appears at the time of the incident, if this is what it was. I see here that Prince Harry believes Princess Diana was murdered, planning $25 million revenge documentary and this and that. I don't know, Harry. See, my mother was murdered. I came across this stuff, and it's sure this can be this stuff could be disturbing. You know, that Charles murdered Diana. Uh, I don't. I don't think he did. I don't think he did. Um, I don't think he would do this. I don't know. I don't think he would do this. I am maybe a person too that um, definitely I'm not the one that should know about anything like this, right? Uh, but what I can give you input is the following. This is my account because I was in the midst of all this since 1995. How much was I in the midst of it? Completely. I think the MK Ultra staff member was actually a bodyguard. You know, he definitely was a bodyguard. Was definitely MK Ultra staff member. Um was he involved to the degree that he actually went to Poland on a Polish Hunger Games? I definitely can say he was in Poland. He knew about the Poland, but I cannot say that that he was actually participating in Poland. But that's even a possibility, I would say. I know that he was an MK Ultra staff member. I know that I spent a lot of time around him. I know that he was really nice to me, and I know that he got fit through this case. So the possibility that eventually, yeah, he got fit literally through this case. The possibility, he was always kind of a fit, but he gained weight, and then he got into what exactly? Maybe Polish Hunger Games. That's where people lost a lot of weight because they have them walk back and forth, and it was all kinds of stuff like that. So the possibility is this man, let me demonstrate you, was actually participating in Polish Hunger Games. What exactly have I done now? No, we're just gonna go like this. This was a really good article, and it's basically this was all I needed to see. Basically, this was all I needed to see. Is this here? Yeah, this here probably. Let me see. Yeah, and then maybe not. Okay. Well, I don't like doing this. Yeah, the speed was 65 miles an hour. That's well over 100 kilometers. Not much, but over 100 kilometers for a car like this. Um, I think that's about the best car the money can buy. I always thought that was the number one car. That's one car quality I would not doubt. I wouldn't get into any of that stuff. In the back seat with a 60 miles an hour with a car like this, well, that's about exactly what you would expect, Harry. The first time I read the test about the car test crash, but you can see this stuff on the YouTube when the people have car crashes, you can see basically what it performs. But I was really young. I was maybe, I don't know, maybe I was like 14 or something like this when I came home, and it was a paper, and it says right there what happens when you hit the tree at I think it was even 50 kilometers an hour. 50 kilometers an hour sucks. That's like 30, 3 times 6. Yeah, that's about 30 miles an hour. Because 1.6 is a mile kilometer ratio. Uh, and so the car tested was Opel Kadett. The name was Opel Kadett. That's like an Opel Astra, obviously. Or actually, Opel Astra. And it was the car that very few people had here in this country, in what used to be Yugoslavia still. Very few people had that kind of car. I probably was 14, maybe even 13 years old. And when I read that test, how it squeezes the front and it pins you, the wheel pins through your chest and stuff like this, man, I was in shock. And it wasn't really the magazine for the kids, but I spent some time thinking about, boy, saying to myself, with the cars much worse that we had, what it means to travel on the road and the possibility of hitting the tree, what exactly how that would be with hitting another car and this and that, or other objects and stuff like this. It really opened my mind into a completely different direction that my fellows at age 13, it was probably maybe even age 12, I don't know, they did not pay attention, probably even age 12. They did not even think about this kind of stuff much. Okay, but I realized that there's something that just seeing these cars, how they fly all over the place, these Yugos and Renault 4, those are the most frequent car. And then it was this little Fiat cars, much worse than Opel Kadett. If you would only have this Opel Kadett, Opel Astra was like wow, or Volkswagen Golf, that's about the same rank. I was thinking about, man, what exactly would happen if you would crash with a little car like this, with this Yugo or something like this. You probably don't stand any chance. You are you are through. Mercedes S, that's top-notch car. No, you would not see any car like this in Yugoslavia. The only time you would see car like this is if maybe the president Tito or somebody like this would go, or somebody from abroad if he worked. I have not actually seen anything like this would own one. All right, so the difference between what I stated and Mercedes, I believe, realistically looking, on a front seat that at 60 miles an hour, that's a double the speed that I stated, because really it's a top-notch car, huge, heavy, massive, compact car. And also depending on where you hit the structure, in what direction, yeah, I would say probably that The front seat driver, depending on direction of how what type of structure is hit, has a chance maybe to even survive. Okay, I'm saying maybe because this is 60 miles an hour. 60 miles an hour, that's over, it was more than 60, over 100 kilometers an hour. 60 miles an hour, ladies and gentlemen, this is already, this is fast. This is fast. Um, Listen up, it's not 100 or 150 miles an hour, okay? It's not 200 kilometers an hour or 150 kilometers an hour, but 100 kilometers an hour. It's awfully fast when it comes to the car crash. You don't want to crash at 60 miles an hour. That's a bad one. In the rear seat, yes, that gives you extra chance in a car like this because it's this front seat. Driver, the bodyguard, unfortunately, that took that main hit, you know, the main impact. That's basically in the type of oh, let me see that. I have not even seen that. I've seen this many times, but what I want to do is I want to see what exactly. In this case, in this thing here, if anybody had a chance to survive, she definitely had a strong chances to survive. This definitely was something that that I would say that on an impact like this, if anybody was to survive, she would, right? No, that picture is not adequate. That picture just shows that how they had pulled her out of the car. They had to cut through chassis and stuff like this to pull her out. So I wouldn't go into it. Princess Diana was not wearing a seatbelt. You understand now what I just stated to you? Okay. She was not wearing a seatbelt. Now the chances of surviving are actually super significantly reduced. They are almost now reduced into no chances. Okay, now you're talking about speed of over 100 kilometers an hour, and you're talking about a body basically speeding in a direction at 60 miles an hour. Okay, now the front car takes the impact, this and that, all that. That's all nice, but the rest, my friend, I do not know. I have no idea how she was positioned in the back. That's all. That stuff is then in hands of Almighty, that He would know of. Basically, here is why I would suggest that if anybody would take care of Diana and save her, the French would. I know that for sure. That there is no freaking way that they would allow something to happen to her. This is just, let me explain to you something. Now it's time for a hard talk. It's called responsibility. The Frenchman is not gonna go that makes decisions. No fucking way he's gonna go, even if he would receive a phone call from your dad that will arrange, that would say go and terminate her or whatever. It's not gonna happen, because now you're talking about already politicians. Now you're talking about already people that are completely different from a driver. I think the biggest problem in this whole thing was a driver. The driver was a driver that did not took job responsible. He did not took responsibility upon himself. If your dad would call the Paris, this is idiotic. I think and he would get on the phone president himself, or he would get on the phone hospital staff. You're talking about the people that are in readiness 24/7, and you're just gonna go and you're gonna, hi, my name is Charles, Charles who, here, Windsor from Buckingham Palace. Can you please kill my wife? That's unrealistic. These are the people that are on a first line duty. These are the people that keep the button. It's not gonna happen. These are people, in other words, what I'm trying to say is, when they appear at work, and that's what I used to do, they write down assumed responsibility every day, every fucking day. When they come, the police officers, the people like this, the first thing is 1,500 hours reported to post such and such assumed responsibility, because it's all about responsibility. That's what you take upon yourself. The bodyguard already was physically developed before, and then he gained weight. So he started to gain weight, and I think they got him to Poland on this Hunger Games. Charles got him into something, and it was quite intense. He spent time next to me, so that's why I'm not sure whether was it running around somewhere in Britain, or was it. I think he was in Poland. I think he was on the Hunger Games. This bodyguard lost weight next to me, and he slimmed. I wasn't really doing the stuff. I was doing shit. Basically, I was gaining weight big time. I was in a depression, all messed up. But the guys in Poland, they had to do pretty much the stuff that are not anywhere near what I did when I went to Poland. But they wouldn't let them sit in their ass. They would make them walk, do the stuff. Not the kind of work I did. Very few, if any, really broke spines. That was just the thing to get me into it. But they had to move their butt. They have to be active and alert and show their mental abilities, which I personally have assessed for the bodyguard is fit. Bodyguard was selected. I selected the bodyguard sometimes under MK Ultra, and Charles agreed with it. I selected one in, it must have been 1996. That's at least, and I have no idea. Or was it that Charles maybe was fucking around with me or whatever. Now, then it was the driver. The driver, that's why I'm saying it was 1996 or 1995 when this, 96. The driver, maybe even 97, the bodyguard, but I say 96. Okay, now the driver. Okay, let me tell you something about the driver. Yeah, I'm gonna first explain about the driver. Actually, not. I was gonna say bodyguard. I'm gonna give you input about the driver first, and then I'm gonna explain to you about the bodyguard too. The driver from what I assessed, you know, I did sports when I was young. Uh, Before I even started the selection, Diana already pulled me on the side, and it was already the driver already was my driver for I don't know how fucking long, 15 years or whatever. It was something like this. Uh, or that he occasionally would replace the other driver or whatever the case was. But the thing about it is, really, it's not about this picture here, you know. It's this is not what this is all about. But obviously here you can see a bodyguard, and you can see the driver. You know, this is not based upon which my judgment was made. You know, the driver, this guy here, without absolutely uh, anything that I would want to add. But if you look at good, this, in my views, this thing here, uh, this guy had a difficulty holding himself inside of the car, man. This is not fit, this individual. Diana insisted me to get me to vote for him, to give him a chance to get him through. And I was maybe, and I shouldn't say that because I don't know, so I'm not gonna say any of that kind of stuff. But it might have been due to something else too. That she wanted him so badly as a driver. I don't know. I am a little bit suspicious about something else too. You know what I mean? I don't know. And I'm not gonna get into this, right? But you see this guy, a bodyguard. This guy barely, you understand? Barely somewhat in 97. If it was one more year, if it was just one more year, okay, I would probably yell at him for getting fat, because this was not the deal between him and me. I already stepped on his ass, and I told him to get fit, fitness, and so on and so forth. Charles can tell you about this stuff, because I just wanted the best of the best for your mom and for your father and for everybody else. When they asked me about, I was looking myself in the mirror. What would I be like if I was a bodyguard? What would I be like if I was a driver? And the driver, in my view, in my eyes, definitely was not fit to be a driver. Definitely this guy was not fit to be a driver. And listen to me, I'm actually not uh, I'm actually not making now conclusions based on this picture, nor am I making conclusions based on uh, this picture here. Okay, which for both of these pictures, you gotta admit this guy looks like half insane, honestly. Even that you can see here, the bodyguard is actually acting okay, like in a funny way, whatever. Uh, and the two had intellectual ability, the basic ability to avoid conflicts, avoid, do whatever was necessary to basically somewhere follow these rules of the bodyguards and driver, and through bring somewhat somehow according to these rules safely a passenger, from point A to B, But I'm telling you one thing. It was this thing here that got me. This stuff here. This. Let me see that stuff. Yeah, that's a really good picture right here. This picture. This is a good picture. This is a good picture. This picture is really good. It tells, actually, it gives a good idea about. Uh, about you know impact. What got my attention was this thing here. This is what got my attention, boy. This thing here is just as I will look at my father. This thing here, this skinny hands, this like this is what I protested Charles when this guy got a contract in 96, when we were in that hallway, dark hallway it was, with the doors, and he went inside, and they gave him this contract. I don't know. I think they probably extended him contract or whatever. Man, that day I was honestly fighting for your mama. It was arguments. It was fight between Charles. It was fight between. I did not accept this guy. You know why I did not accept this guy? Like I said, if it would have been one more year, I would definitely get on ass on a bodyguard too. Because in my opinion, a bodyguard, and I'm not anywhere near this, but bodyguards should be, you know what I mean? He should have muscles, he should be built, he should be preferably somebody from MI5 bodyguard team with a professional driving abilities, knowledge to operate vehicle properly. However, on a first place, he should be slim and strong, capable to even replace the bodyguard at any time if necessary. You understand? These are two different jobs. They're maybe not even two different jobs. They're not really two different jobs. These are just, actually, this is the same. If you ask me, this is a completely, when it comes to a clientele like this is exactly the same kind of job with the two different responsibilities. That's what it is. One is a bodyguard, the other one is a driver. However, the two have to work together. The bodyguard too should have a special driving skills. So it was a fight, it was arguments, and that day when your mother did deliberately chosen this bodyguard, and I can tell you that she chose him because with him she had extras. In other words, she chose him because the guy would, close eyes and would not see. The guy, in other words, covered for her in front of Charles. There was something also about the smoking. I think that he covered for her too. I was there. That's me. She chose him as a bodyguard, to make the story short. As a driver, I agreed on a bodyguard. Okay, I was okay with that. And I was already eyeing bodyguard. I was a pain in the ass. I wanted, when it comes to stuff like this, I was already, he already started to get fat again, gain weight. There is no such thing when you're doing stuff like that. There is no such thing like this. he got his job, then he got on my ass. Then he protested me. Uh, Even involved something about it. He is French and I don't know what. It's a stupid stuff that couldn't be more stupid because he really looked somewhat like myself. That was just completely stupid. But you know, people do stupid shit to avoid responsibilities. You know, assume responsibilities, duty. Uh, when you take this kind of job, the duty doesn't come only when you know, bring your ass to your workplace. It's the stuff that goes on around clock 24/7. It's a lifestyle. This is not this is not that you're gonna go and all right, you know, let's go and I'll take you here and take you there and then you're free and then you go and do whatever you want and stuff like that. He had also ladies and stuff like this. I didn't like this guy. This was just not. This is just not. This was just not fit. And that's it. Charles was actually on my side. Charles didn't want him. You understand? So when you say that, and I didn't say that you say, but there's people out there who say, you know, Charles got him killed and this and that. All right. So that's all I can say for Charles. Charles was on my side. Charles also didn't want him. He said Bobby doesn't want him. Uh, and I also think this and that. That's what he did. But your mom was very strong. She got. Your mom was not the way she's described in the media. Okay, the media portrays person according to each journalist stays the way whatever they look into the person. She is more like first of all, she's not the only one because this always happens. Uh, it's always like this. It's just that your father, I believe, in my opinion, had nothing to do with this other than relationship with the Camila he did have. That I'm gonna tell you. That was a bad decision. But that he would go beyond this through I don't know. I don't have proofs about it. I'm gonna give you my opinion. I don't think so. I don't actually think that he would go and do this stuff. I'm not covering up for you that. I am just telling you. I'm just giving you, serving you with facts here. That's all there is to it. The driver was drunk that night. Uh, what the fuck? What kind of driver? I am alcohol abstinent. I didn't like this fucking guy. Not even on 100 meters I couldn't stand him. That's all. That's just my input. Um, yes, I was with him. I remember the driver also took me privately with him back and forth. And he was trying to be really nice with him, and I was nice with him, and we also had a fun. But every time when he appeared back on his workplace, this is the shit that I couldn't add together. So you already understand why. This is the stuff that just didn't add up to me. And because of this, he just just I remember there was some lake that we would walk around through to go. I did spend time with this driver, but what I'm telling you, everything okay. But when I saw him on a picture, and when I thought about This never add up for me. This stuff, it just didn't add up. The impression he made, that first impression and all that stuff, that was, Diana actually asked me to lobby for him. I couldn't. I couldn't. If I wanted to, I couldn't. All right, that's all. Here, today is July the 4th, 2022.